This morning, as COVID cases mount across the country, the mass debate is intensifying.
People are very passionate on both sides of the great mass debate.
The partisan mass debate is heating up.
Mass debate's growing.
The president is trying to have us cover the mass debate.
CVS, Target, and Walgreens are getting in on the mass debate.
The mass debate now taking center stage at local restaurants.
It's 9 minutes after 6 now, and there's new video of a raging mass debate. The mass debate in Georgia is getting ugly.
The great mass debate in West Virginia might soon be coming to an end.
This mass debate is far from over.
How many mass debates have you gotten into? Love to hear it.
The mass debate was taken to a whole nother level.
Bishop David Zubik tells Pittsburgh's Action News 4 he found himself in the middle of a mass debate.
And we'll dive deeper into this pet store mass debate.
So we're going to begin with this thing we're calling the great mass debate.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up right here on govsradio.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Boxcast. And like my good friend Ken Pichelle always says, we on TV. And yes, indeed, we are, folks. I'm your host, Don Sill, and we have another great show in store for you today. We have the hilarious local legend, Stevie G is here tonight on his 29th stand-up comedy anniversary. So stay tuned and watch that. He also brought along his good buddy, Monty Belligerent. So we had a fun little talk with him as well. And also Ryan Long, an up-and-coming stand-up comedian from Manhattan. Going to be a superstar, this guy, I'm telling you right now. Check him out. Great interview with him as well. But without further ado, let's get right into this with my good buddy, Benny Rizzuti. Benny, how you doing, pal?
Don, I am doing awesome. I am doing great. Happy Saturday, my friend.
Yes, indeed.
Here we are. We are a variety show on a Saturday at 7. How could I not be great? I love this. This is like the most fun you can have on a Saturday night.
It's the most fun you could have on Saturday night. But you know what? I had a lot of fun on Thursday night. Because you know what was cool? We all got together, and I'll tell the audience about it in a second. But just the fact of getting out and socializing, right, was great. And Wendy, my wonderful fiance, myself, Nancy, your beautiful wife, and yourself, along with Tony Walker and Sally and his daughter, my cousin Samantha, and Lou Pratt, and a whole bunch of other people, all kind of gathered around the table, had some fun, had some laughs at a stand-up comedy show, which was with Mike Keegan and all his friends. So for anybody who didn't think Mike Keegan had friends, they're wrong. He has friends. He has a lot of them. And
he's got a lot of friends.
And
that was one action-packed show, if you want to put. That show was loaded with comedians, it was. We got to see a lot of good people, a lot of friends.
It was a great show. It was a show right here in our home club of Governor's Comedy Club out on the patio. All the comedians got together. This has been a long-awaited kind of a show. People have been talking about this for a while. This has had all of our good friends that on the show were there pretty much. We had Carla Okerson emceed the whole thing. Of course, Keegan headlined. Tim Saliani was there. He wasn't just guarding the door and being the bouncer. He also did some stage time. Nigel Fullerton showed up. Rich Rader did a great job on stage. Jeff Bosey also did great on stage and was there. Lou Pratt was there. So many people from the Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up show, whether they were judges or contestants, they all were up there on the stage, and each one was rocking the house. And then there was some seasoned guys. We had Eric Haft was up there. We had Richie Byrne.
Richie Byrne was up there. Cara Amore.
Cara Amore.
At the end, Cara Amore. She's a good friend of mine. I was surprised. And one of the things about the show last night is some of those comics just dropped by, maybe because there's no shows going on or anything.
Right.
So they dropped by to see their friends, and their friends were cool enough to put them on stage.
It's so awesome. And like I said, there's not a lot of stage time around these days. It's pretty thin. So for, Mike Keegan to have this kind of semi-open invite to all his friends to just come and rock the stage. It was great, man. And I tell you what, normally when you get a long line of comedians, it could sometimes feel like a little strenuous on the audience. I don't think that was the case with this one. I think every comedian delivered the goods. It was always funny. I think they put a good like lineup in the order where,
Yes.
you know, and it was great. I'll tell you one kid that stood out. What was his name? Rooney.
Dennis Rooney.
Dennis Rooney.
Dennis
that kid.
Rooney. I immediately sent him a friend request right there on Facebook. I think he was still on stage, and I was like, I got to be this guy's friend. But as you were saying, and you're right, that they put it in a good order with the comics and but the main reason behind that show being so good, I have to give big credit, big props to Carla Okerson.
Yes.
Who was the MC. And she's the one that kept the energy going, because a lot of shows, a show like that depends on your MC. You have to like the MC, and you have to feel confident with them and know that they're in the driver's seat. And Carla Okerson is that person. She was very funny. When she opened, she was funny. And she showed you as an MC how she could keep the show going, keep the energy level at an all-time high. So I give full, all the comics were good, and there was a lot of talent, but I give number one props to Carla Okerson for keeping that together.
Right on, man. And yeah, Carla definitely was the glue to that whole thing, and she kept it going each and every time, made sure we all clapped, and everyone was getting prepped, and she was great. She was hilarious. It was just a great night.
Joke in between, and she was like a good MC with that many comics. You do your material up front, then you do one or two quick jokes, make sure the audience is ready for the next act, and and Carla has a joke. Carla's right there with something right off the top of her head. She was really good.
Yeah, it was such a great night. Very fun, hilarious. Yeah, man. And
I love what Governors did. I love that outdoor patio, and the stage has plexiglass in the front, and the one side is plexiglass.
Who's the plexiglass protecting? Is it protecting the comedians from us, or us from the comedians, or is it a spit guard, or like really what is the purpose? Because then they all come out mingling with us anyway.
I know. We were social distancing, and when I first got there, I was paranoid because the night before I went to a coffee house.
Right, yeah, you performed too. Yeah.
And I performed. I did an open mic. So, and that was, that coffee house is very similar to like in Friends, where you have the furniture far away.
Right,
so
right.
Nancy and I say it was like you sit in your own private living room. You're not near each other. And I stayed away. But then yesterday, when we first got there, Jeff Bosey, he was like teasing me, and he touched my back. I turned around. He's like, "You're going to say hi?" And I'm like, "Going to say hi? I'm going to say, don't touch me. Don't forget, I freaked out in the beginning." I'm like, "What are you thinking? You don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. I'm going to be 65 years old. I don't need to get sick. If I get sick, something else is going to happen. That's the way I am, So I don't need to, don't touch." So in the beginning, I was very, don't touch me. Oh, how come people aren't wearing, every time I got up, I put my mask on. I'm very, but at the end of the night, because you're all friends, at the end of the night, somebody comes over to you and they want to, Carla came over and just put her arm around me. What are you? I'm not going to get mad at Carla. She kicked my ass. Number one, friggin' Colombian and Sicilian, forget it. That would be, we'll start a war between the two countries. So no, but Carla, I love Carla. So she put her arm around me. Then Mike Keegan, I know Mike Keegan. Nancy was saying, we know Mike Keegan since he's in his 20s.
Right.
Performing.
I love how you're fine with the two people that have had coronavirus touching you, but the one guy who's
doesn't have it.
He's the one to get mad at. What's up? I'm here with Jeff Bosey. Jeff just performed tonight with the big Mike Keegan and Friends show. Jeff,
how you doing, everybody?
How you doing, man? It was great to see you performing live.
Dude, it was so awesome to get back up on stage again. It's been almost like 3-4 months since I've been back up, and it was just so energetic. The crowd was amazing. The place is amazing. They take listen, they don't screw around when it comes to like with the safety here. They don't mess around, and it's top notch. It's amazing, and you guys, and great to see also Don here tonight.
It was great, man. I had a great time coming out here. We'll show the stage right by the stage here. You just rocked that stage a little while ago. We had nice. It's pretty much sold out today.
Yeah, no, it was definitely. We had a great crowd. It was pretty much packed. Listen, even though it was hot as anything, okay, people still wanted to get out of their house and they wanted to have a great time, and we made sure we did that tonight. And that's what it's all about. It going out, having a great time, having great laughs. And to be able to hang out with the legendary Don Sill.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. You rock, Bose.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You have to subscribe to Don Sill's show, Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up on Govs Radio. It's the show with his buddy Benny. They're good buddies. They're on TV. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yo, you good for the P test tomorrow? No, I haven't actually checked. Maybe just bring an impeach Trump sign to be safe. As a professional protester, I've yelled smash capitalism at the Women's March, BLM, March for Science, National Citizens Day. You know, it doesn't matter what you're protesting. It just matters that you're protesting. Some of my favorites, Boys in Blue, My Balls Are Blue. That's a classic right there. The only gun I support is in a man or woman's pants. I'm a little more careful now as I've had some blunders in the past, like the time I thought I was going to the slut march, but I showed up to the abortion rally with a sign that said sluts marching, or the time I went to the legalized gay marriage protest thinking we were against it because the night before I watched a 10-year-old clip of Barack Obama saying he didn't support, and I just assumed that was our stance. Little explaining to do when I pulled this bad boy out. Not really sure what we were protesting there. Actually got pretty blackout that night. You know, not a lot of people know this, but about 90% of protesting is actually arts and crafts. Oh, that brings me back right there. And when I'm not smashing capitalism, I do work at Hobby Lobby, so I get pretty sick deals on poster board. Yeah, I have fun with it, you know. So, brought this to the Palestine March to really give it to those Nazis supporting Israel. The Hong Kong rally was a blast. We shut down the speech of anyone who disagreed with us in support of Hong Kong. I went through a pretty big communist anarchist phase for a little bit. You're a freaking pig! I can do a little better than that. You're a freaking pig! BLM was a favorite of mine. First time I met a black guy, actually. Nicer than I would have thought. We got to chatting. I told him that my favorite actors were the cast of Medea Goes to Jail. He told me that was just one guy, so it was a learning experience also. My wrist is actually a little sore right now. I sprained it trying to punch a hole through the window of Chang's Convenience. I don't support Nazi Germany. I've actually been using my wrong hand to throw rocks into cops, then disappear into a crowd of minorities. Right now, I'm pretty huge in the whole getting blown by cops thing. You know, a lot of these activists out there are weekend warriors, but I've been arrested 9 times personally. 8 times for protesting and once for the head behind the dumpster. Yeah, it turns out that girl was underage. To be fair, the way she was protesting, I thought she was at least 17. I am an ally, so I think I should get another bandana. Phone's all charged up for dank TikToks. I've dedicated my life to smashing the system. You know? Which system? You tell me. I'm there. You know what they say? Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
All right, everybody. Our first guest is a comedian, filmmaker from Toronto, Canada, and currently living right here in New York. He's the creator, star, and showrunner of the hit digital series Toronto Topia on CBC Comedy, and has been seen on Netflix, NBC, MTV, Fuse TV, and The Score, to name a few. But now he's here with us, right here. On
First guest, I didn't realize. That's an honor.
The first guest of this episode. But yeah, this is
you have multiple guests every episode.
Yes, yeah. But
you like making your life hard.
No, this is awesome having you on the show. This is Ryan Long, hilarious guy, man. First of all, I just want to say that I'm loving everything you've been doing on YouTube on these sketches lately. You're really kind of nailing it. They're all hilarious, and I mean, how long have you been doing these? Like since the quarantine or like?
Well, I've been making videos my whole life, right? So I was into that stuff, and I had a couple TV shows in Canada and some series like that, and so I've been making videos my entire life. But when I moved to New York, I said I wasn't going to take any jobs or anything like that, and I was just going to start building my own thing. So I started doing a video a week, and I was honestly just releasing a lot of man on the street stuff. And then when COVID happened, I was like, all right, I'm going to do like a real video like every week.
You see, a lot of freelance videographers will sell their footage to either CNN or Fox News. But when you do that, you only get to sell half of what you actually film happening at these events. You might be able to sell your peaceful protest footage to CNN, but then you're stuck with all this footage of looters rioting, which is why I've developed a technique that allows me to sell to both. They call me the chief because I use every part of the buffalo. Well, Fox News calls me the chief. CNN got offended that a white person used the word buffalo.
So that was when I started. They were a little more few and far between, but then I was like every Monday started when COVID happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you put that stamp on there that every Monday, new content every Monday, that puts the pressure on, huh?
No, you know what? It does. I can see how it would, but it's like I've been doing this for so long. This wasn't that hard. It's more like it helped the other way, where people actually your video can go viral because my fan base or whatever actually tunes in. So you get that initial bump. Like if they know it comes out at the certain time, which I didn't realize how kind of important that was. Because even places that I worked, there was never really like a release schedule like that, but it's made such a huge difference with that stuff. When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them. We both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. There was a bit when this video went viral, I was like so busy for the next 2 days dealing with stuff that there was like in the back of my mind, I was like, fuck, like I don't know if I'm gonna top that. But then when I actually sat down and write, I was like, oh right, I have like 15 more like ideas. It's like the same thing over. I can do that a million more times. I'm just getting a bit of the vibe that you're not taking this that seriously.
Do you have a badge or something?
Just give me one name and I'll move on.
You're actually talking to me, which is bothering me.
You know, this doesn't have to be tumultuous, this conversation here. Sir? This could be over as quick as you'd like it to be. So I'm going to write that down as a non-compliant.
In these times now, they've been kind of like a comedy goldmine for you. You managed to find the funny through these kind of tragic times. You've managed to find a way to spin it and make these moments funny. How does that? I
think one part is that I think there's like a couple of components, I guess. One is that like I started like my stand-up style was always kind of like saying things that you're not supposed to say in like a certain way.
Very complicated to be alive, all the opinions you need to pretend to have right now. Even doctors don't want to say fat. They have to be like, listen, if you could be 30% less brave, that would be great. If we get your levels of, you go girl, down to just, you go girl, you know?
So I think it's that, like a lot of people making stuff, they're like, oh, this is how you, I'll make my comedy whatever, but the message has to be like within these thin lines. And I've kind of always been like, fuck that, like color outside lines. And especially when I moved here and started doing my own thing, I'm like, I don't have a job they can fire me from. So I just kind of like, I'm just making I'm just making whatever the fuck I want.
If I do get married, I want my wife to be Muslim just because there's a lot of good shit in there about obeying your husband. And she'll be like, I don't want to do the dishes. I'm like, Allah, she's not doing it. Allah, we had a deal. Talk to her, put your burqa apron on, thank you.
There's a lot of people, I mean, I don't consider myself like by any means like one of the top thinkers in this area, but I don't know if you ever heard those theories where it's like you kind of create your own category and be the best at it. Because I'm probably not the fucking smartest like intellectual on these topics, and I'm maybe not the best guy making videos, but if you take how funny I am with how good I am at videos versus how much I know that stuff, and you put those combined, I might be the best at the combination of those three things.
Well, both female and male Karens enjoy having people fired. Female Karens have them fired for bad service, while male Karens have them fired for offensive tweets. Both Karens enjoy policing lyrical content, but while Karens police the content of rap, male Karens are much more interested in policing the content of comedy.
Most of us, I would say, who knows what percentage, maybe 70% of people are normal, in the middle, whether they lean one way or the other, but they're generally in the middle. I think that's who you're speaking to a lot. These extremes they're not going to get the joke, I don't think. I think it'll go over their head.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to like change opinions. I'm more trying to like make good things. But a part of making good things, I think, a lot of times is like pointing out where the problems and the power lies, right? Because everyone thinks they're like speaking truth to power, but they're like a lot of times not. You know what I mean? You know, like someone will be like a comedian talking about like how Trump's bad, and they're like, you know, sticking it to the man, and you're like, your ideology is like pretty much the man, especially in your world. So there's no like risk taking involved in that whatsoever.
Exactly. There's no edge to that.
No, there's not. It's not one of the. Yeah, there's not one of those things where, you know, a lot of people. That's why, I mean, people that do the kind of stuff I do. I get so much messages of people being like, dude, I've been fucking trying to say that forever, and like you kind of like I've been like, you know, they've been clunkily arguing with people at parties and leaving, and people thinking they're racist and whatever. Because these issues are so hard to talk about, right? You know, you might think like, you know, there's something weird about like the fact that like BLM's like 90% of their thing is about trans people or something, but you want to fucking go to your workplace and have a beef with BLM? Like, there's no way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you know, and I didn't even make a video about that. It's just like use an example of like such a hot button issue that unless you really nail it, you're gonna seem like a insane person, right? So it's like a lot of people just are afraid to say anything because you're not allowed to have these conversations in any sort of like meaningful way without seeming like a psychopath if you get one wrong thing.
Exactly.
Just living in fear.
And that's what's great about what you're doing, both your stand-up and these sketches and your man on the street stuff, all of that. You really are kind of holding people accountable to their hypocrisy. Like,
basically use coronavirus as a way to usher in some of the things we've been trying to do for years. I just think we should ban them from public parks. The art in what I do is making citizens think their removal of freedoms is somehow their idea. Sort of like putting a GPS on your girlfriend's phone for her safety.
Dude, it's brilliant, and that's what's excellent too, is that you're able to do this, to touch on these touchy subjects that are somewhat taboo, like you said, to lean to certain sides or say it out loud, but you're doing it in such a way that I think no one's gonna get mad at you, you know. But you know, what I'm
they
saying?
get mad. But they don't get mad. I mean, it's like when people come to the comedy club in bad faith. Like, you know what I mean? They're there. And, you know, I said this, I tweeted this, but 90% of the people who got fucking mad at that video work in entertainment or the media because it sort of threatens their livelihood. Like, if you're, you know, part of that machine and you're, you know, essentially a bishop in that church of fucking whatever woke shit, right. And then someone comes up and we're like, hey, we're partying at the bar down the street and everyone's leaving. And you're like, no, but if everyone leaves, like, my bishop position is not going to be worth anything. So I think it threatens, like, everything. So I get why they're mad about it, but I don't think they're mad at the thing as much as they're mad about the, you know, their positioning that it threatens.
About interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked?
Did you see any of the protests? Like, did you go to any of that stuff?
Did I physically go to anything?
Yeah.
No, I kind of stayed away when a
you're
lot
in New
of it
Jersey
was
right now, right?
Well, I'm on Long Island, but
Long Island, okay.
Yeah, I'm all the way out east. I'm like in the Hamptons area.
I only moved here like 9 months ago, so I still don't know, and 6 of them was locked in my house. So
yeah,
I don't know New York. I don't know things that well, but there was, when you go to the protest, I remember watching both things, and I'm seeing it on my timeline, and I was seeing, you know, I went to one protest. There was all like black dudes like breaking, you know, windows and stuff like that. Then I went to one protest that was all like hippie white dudes doing shit and you go, but you'd only hear one side. And I go, I was there and I saw both of those things happen. Like, because everyone would argue, it's actually this, it's actually this. I go, it's both, you friggin' morons. Both of those things are happening.
Where are you in New York?
Wild.
Are you like right
yeah, I'm in Manhattan. I'm in the East Village right now. I'm in the mixed. And again, I'm like, this was one of the issues that like I thought that we could have been on the same page about, everyone, because, you know, it was like there's a legitimate police reform. Like there's legitimate problems with the unions. There's so much stuff with like people from all walks of life should be able to like agree on some things as like human beings, but it got politicized so quick. And just like anything else, they made the movement about fucking getting people fired for tweets and, you know, cartoon characters and all this nonsense. And then by the end of it, everyone's like, all right, well then fuck you. You know what I mean?
Much like Bitcoin, cancel capital can be mined by having people fired, publicly shamed, and deplatformed. And that cancel capital can now be used as a force field to prevent people from finding out what a piece of garbage you are. Cancel capital can be used if you dated someone in the workplace before before it was illegal. Or maybe you had the wrong political opinions before you were awarded the right ones. Maybe in the past you've done edgy comedy to get famous. So in order to erase that, you want to shut the door behind you for future generations while still keeping the money and fame.
Do you have any fears ever of the cancel culture mob, or are you just not?
Yeah,
just
I
not
do.
worried about it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's like, you know, I've been doing this for a while, so I've gone through different phases where I was really worried about it, then I wasn't. I mean, it never really like affected what I was gonna do, but it really did. Like, here's the things that it's made me change. For example, I've really changed my life to build something that can't be taken away from me. So now I've focused on my podcast, my Patreon, as opposed to, for example, writing on TV shows, or even like for example, like recently they asked me to submit package to SNL, and I was like, I'm just not going to do that because. So I'm sort of staying away from those jobs right now that they could take away from me, and a lot of things like that. And then I've even gone like kind of neurotic back in the day to the point where like writing up my life plan, like if this all gets taken away from me, to try to like play that out. Like, okay, if everything gets taken away and there's no way I could do stand up again because something that was like, they really come at you, I'm like, what would I do? Like, what if I don't know what it would be. Like, I don't even know, but I've been doing like edgy comedy and making aggressive stuff for a long time. So I have gone through phases where but now I don't think it affects me on, doesn't affect what I make. Like, I don't make my stuff, but it affects me on like how I design my life.
I mean, yeah, it's not that hard. The government should close every business, weld every door shut, then give every citizen $20,000 a month. I mean, I'd like to see the government give us a bedtime.
Yeah, I could see being concerned, to a degree, because you see, whoever would have thought that somebody could literally take stand-up away. But then you look at like Louis C.K. as an example.
That's true, yeah.
He can't really perform without it being a thing.
Without it being a whole hoopla, yeah.
Yeah, man. But to me, stand-up is always there. Like, I think, if you got the soul of a stand-up comedian, you can go up on stage and do it. There'll always be an opportunity. But like you said, it is weird times with this cancel culture stuff, and it's ridiculous. And they're eating their own. The left is eating the left now.
One of the reasons they're eating their own, too, is because, I mean, perfect example is like what I was just saying about me, but I can name 50 of them. But like, I used to be in Canada. I was in the industry structure a little bit, but like, they kind of are like, you did something wrong, we want to take your job away. And you're like, what jobs? Like, you've been pretty adamant over the past 4 years that people like us won't have those. Right. So it's like, like there's no scenario where if this was 10 years ago, Andrew Schultz wouldn't be like have a Netflix show. Like, this is the biggest comedian in the world, potentially. You know what I mean?
You got to be considerate for the people behind you for the show, dude. You wore your tallest turban. Damn, bro. Do they got different heights? Is today like a really religious day that you got are you like the king Punjab?
Yeah.
And he's not in that mix, so it's like they want to take stuff away, but like people aren't in your system anymore, so you're not their boss. It's like, how do you fire someone that you're not their boss? So it's an interesting time for that. That's why they have to cancel their own, because everyone that's making good stuff right now and the counterculture people like aren't in their system.
Right,
and they're doing better. Like, these people are making a lot of money, and I'm doing well right now, even, and I'm not like some big star. So it's kind of like when I get offered these jobs and stuff like that, like, you would have to offer me a lot of money to like step away from my life. Like, it would have to be a pretty substantial offer for me to like step away from what I'm doing right now and just take off a year and make a show on a network that who knows how much you're going to push it. Who knows if you're going to take it away at any moment. Who knows if, it's going to do well, like to take a lottery ticket essentially when I have something right now that I like doing that's working. So it's a fucking interesting time, dude.
And dude, like you said, for you to basically you didn't turn down SNL, but you turned down sending your stuff into SNL.
Yeah, but there's been lots of stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, there's been lots of stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like I have a bunch of, I mean, even like on a smaller scale, to say that how much you don't need people, I'm like, so that last video I did that did like whatever 10 million views or whatever, the amount of people that messaged me being like, hey dude, like I run this production company, like I'd like to invest in you, like we'd like to talk to you. And I'm like, invest in what? My fucking SpongeBob costume?
I'm a freaking cartoon character. Why is my sexual preference even a topic, let alone a national conversation?
I'm like, what are we investing in? Like, I don't know. I'm just making videos and podcasts on the internet, and it's like working. And then I go do stand up. Like, so what do you give me money and I make bigger videos and no one cares? Like, for what? I don't know. What are we investing in?
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of don't need people. But I mean, I would like to make a television show, and that's one of the problems with this thing, because I used to argue this with comics and podcasters. when they would sort of take a little bit what I'm saying now, but I maybe have kind of said a bit of both sides of that argument. But like when they would say like, you know, they can't take your podcast away from you, like your stand-up away from you. I'm like, yes, but I want to make TV shows. Like that's the thing that I wanted to do my whole life. Like I was obsessed with that, and that was really like what I wanted to do. I want to make my version of fucking Portlandia or South Park or Tim and Eric or whatever. Like I want to make my TV show, you know, or Seinfeld or whatever. I want that. I want to do that, and I think it's kind of I've accepted that maybe I have to like change my brain that it's not what it used to be, and there's a different world right now. But so it is like that was sort of dangling over me. It's like, you know, if you don't, they can take that away, and you're like, well, once you accept that you don't need it, then you are in a different position.
In sort of a way that this whole situation, the COVID thing, was a blessing in disguise for you in a sense, because it opened up your, like you said, gave you the time and the resource and the material to kind of showcase a whole different side of what you can do. And
and I was here, and there was definitely that, and also I did have the 4 months that I was here that everyone knew who I was and all the comedy clubs, and I made friends. So it's like I had enough of a base because of that. And even like on the internet, like all these people with big followings like know who I am. So it's not just like some guy in Canada. It's like, it sounds like a little thing, but even the fact that I'm like, people are like, oh, this like New York comic, I've seen him on this podcast and that, like the people contextualized part of that, like made people take me seriously, which is the difference between like them being like, oh, this guy's my favorite comedian, or like, oh, I kind of like this comic in Canada. Like I know it's just like optics, but like I've seen like firsthand the difference that makes. So at least I had my 4 months to sort of weasel my way into your fucking club system before they forced me into my video making cave. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is actually 72 genders now, which means that men are better than 71 genders. Boys! Yeah, you're right. Carried away.
Well, dude, you're awesome, man. You're hilarious.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Everyone should check you out on YouTube and everywhere else, and follow you on. You're on Twitter. You're everywhere. Ryan Long.
Yeah, everything is The Boyscast with Ryan Long is my podcast. Patreon.com/TheBoydcast too. And then every video comes out YouTube.com/Ryan Long Comedy, and all my socials are at Ryan Long. Oh, sorry, all my socials are at Ryan Long Comedy. I don't know why I said that.
Ryan Long Comedy. Excellent, man. Yeah. Well, Ryan, thanks again for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're extremely busy, probably working on your next sketch right now or your next writing thing, and we're holding you up. So thanks, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, that would be awesome when this maybe in the next little bit we can organize me to get down there.
Dude, you got to come to Governor's. Long Island needs to see you live, man. It'd be awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I've never even been there. That's where Seinfeld's from, right?
Yeah. Seinfeld's from Massapequa. It's right across the way from where our club is. This is one of the clubs he started at. Ray Romano also.
Nice.
A lot of them. Eddie Murphy.
Cool.
You know, yeah, Long Island's like
no, I've definitely heard of like the name a lot of times.
Yeah.
Kind of like a legacy sort of brand, right?
Yes, yeah, it's the biggest comedy club on Long Island, right? You know.
Very cool. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, Ryan. You rock, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Take care, man.
Hey, this is the Great Goonin saying you're watching Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up with Don Sill on Govs Radio.
Yeah! All right, Benny, we are back. And
man.
Fun stuff so far, huh?
I love it. It's amazing. It's an amazing show. You do great work, buddy.
I told you, Ryan Long. He's the future. This guy's hilarious, man.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love Ryan Long.
He's gonna do great.
I have all his albums.
But do you know now? I just want to get into this because you know Charles Goonan, as we keep saying every week, he moved from Brooklyn to Hershey, Pennsylvania, where he's now kind of living a brand new life over there with his family, and he's going through his basement. He's back kind of in his dad's house where his childhood things are there. So he's kind of digging through archives and going through stuff. And little did we know that a young Charles Goonan was an aspiring like Muppet puppeteer guy.
A puppeteer, wow.
Yeah, so he
looks like a little. I could see Charles Goonan sitting on somebody's lap.
Well, here this is
with the hand up his back. I could see that.
Well, here Goonan is with his puppets. He found his childhood puppets, and here it is. Check it out.
People of Earth, it is I, the Great Goonin, in the basement, looking at the old puppets in the bag.
Oh, who messed up my mouth? That's the real question here.
Got a whole body. I don't know if you can see it.
Here there. I have no identity. I have an identity crisis.
I'm a backpacking turtle. This is not my backpack. This is my shell.
You don't know what I am? I'm a weasel.
I'm a rich weasel, and I do what I want.
Ruff, ruff, ruff. Way before Blue's Clues, I was the original Blue's Clues.
And do you think anyone would sue you for being Rolf the dog?
Why don't you shut the
I don't work most of the year, except during Easter, and the rest of the time I have off. Thank you. How did I get rich? Well, I'm a weasel.
I'm a lizard. Lizards have tails, but I'm not Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog has millions of dollars, and I live in a gosh darn basement.
I said gosh darn.
That's because I don't say
I know why you did puppets.
Why is that?
You had no friends.
True.
It started on Division and right inside of Govs, a stand-up comedy contest that you're certain to love. It's got Don as the host, the Gagutsa for roasts. In its first season, Mandy Jones won the most. Switched it up a bit due to the quarantine. Now it's got interviews, skits, songs, variety. I swear I'm gonna put it in a song that I write about PUSUSU on Saturday nights. We all know Benny is an Italian, but did you know that Don is an Englishman? Don't know why I'm singing about nationalities when I know that you just wanna laugh at that hilarious PUSUSU. PUSUSU.
Unbelievable. 60. 60 is officially the age when older people stop saying, oh, you're still a young man. I was 45, I'm 45, oh, you're still a young man. I'm 52, you're 52, oh, you're so young. I'm 60. Denny's has an early bird special, and here's some coupons for the Red Lobster.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with our next guest is kind of a local Long Island legend, if you will. He's been on the scene for a long time. In fact, today is 29 years of doing stand-up comedy for this man. This is the very hilarious Stevie GB. Stevie, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Don? Nice to see you.
Doing great. Nice to see you too. And congratulations on 29 years in stand-up.
It's amazing.
I remember you from when I was starting out. It was in the late 90s. I started doing comedy in like 97, 98-ish.
Oh, son of a bitch! Holy shit! Oh, I'm sorry! I'm sorry, please!
And then I eventually stopped doing it. I realized it wasn't...
You weren't going to be on Letterman in a week. That's what it was.
Exactly.
You lost the delusion.
So
that's probably like 97, 98 or something.
Yeah, that's about the time. Because I lasted from about 97 to early 2000, if that. I was only a few years doing it. And then it just got harder and harder to... the drive for me to want to do it, you know, because every day I was nervous.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Nerves are good. Well, I got lucky. I mean, I probably would have quit also if I didn't get, certain people really looked out for me and helped me out. I think I mentioned this morning I did a live thing on YouTube. Vince D'Antona. I don't know if you remember Vince D'Antona.
Yeah, I love Vince.
He's a nice guy. He's looking at me like I'm real. Will you stop? He's trying to outstare me. No.
Vince was like the sweetest guy in the world. He was everybody's friend. And I used to go to McGuire's all the time. That was my home club. I go to McGuire's on all the open mic nights. And back then, there weren't really bringer shows. You just kind of showed up. And for some reason, there was always people there. I don't know why they came to shows. But I don't remember like John Ryerson was running. He never said you have to bring people or whoever was running the show. I would just show up and they would put you on stage. And I always sort of did well. But, I was getting that disillusioned feeling of like, this is really unfair. And, getting ignored and the usual thing we all go through for a few years. Being an accountant and a comedian, it entails keeping the day job until this takes off, which means keeping the day job. And I was just about ready to quit. And I was, and that's when Vince slipped a piece of paper over. He said, call this guy. And it was Rick Morgan, who was doing all the firehouses.
Yeah.
And he ended up putting me on 30 firehouses where, you don't have to bring people, obviously. You just go to the show.
Right.
And here you are performing in front of 200-300 people, and you naturally get better because, that's I always tell people, people say, don't you get nervous performing in front of 300 people? I'm like, no, those are easy. Performing in front of 5 people is hard.
Right, yeah.
As a comic, when you get a big audience, if you can't get laughs out of 300 people, you really should probably quit, give it up. Because they're easier. They're easier because it's a big
the energy.
crowd.
Yeah, the energy. Everybody's feeding off each other. Everybody wants to laugh. It's like you said, it's 5
They're there
people.
to have a good time, And if you get 40 or 50 people to laugh in a crowd of 300, then you get 100 people to laugh because, laughter is contagious. So that really saved my life and as far as comedy goes, and it kept me going and getting better. So. And here's some more good news. I've actually semi-retired recently from accounting. I don't do accounting as much. I've semi-retired. My wife calls it semi-unemployed.
Yeah, and you've done some really big stages. You do a lot with Bobby Collins, right?
Yeah.
And you work with him?
Yes, I've worked with Bobby 9 or 10 times, maybe. And he was one of my idols. I saw him back in the early 80s before I even started thinking about doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And he was the guy where I saw on stage, and this sounds like a negative thing, but it's a positive thing. And I said, wow, I could do that. And, he made it look easy, but he made it look easy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think everybody has that one comic that they look at and go, yeah, I want to do that. And he was the guy. And then who knew, 20 years later, I'd get to not only meet him, but open up for him and, consider him sort of a friend, And so, yeah, that's exciting to be able to go full circle like that. Anybody here from Suffolk County? Come on, Suffolk County. Nassau people act like we live in Kentucky. You act like we live in Kentucky. You're like, where do you live? Suffolk County? What exit?
Yeah, it's funny how life works like that, man. You become friends with the role models or the people that inspired you in this business, and that's really cool. So how has the quarantine been treating you now? I know the comedy world has changed. Clubs are opening back up slowly. Yeah. Governors is open. I'm actually going to a show this week to check out some comics, but these last 4.5, 5 months have been tough. And what have you been doing to do the time? You've been writing material, hitting YouTube? Yeah, I've been writing, not so much material. I'm actually working with Paul Bond, who's an old friend of mine. We know each other for a long time. And he's putting together a talk show, and we've been working. I've been helping him. I've been writing it with him, writing some skits. We have a really great skit. I don't know if you did a little background. I did Groucho Marx. I had a Groucho Marx show. Groucho! Where I played Groucho. Right, and I really nailed it. I mean, I'm very proud of what I was able to do because he's one of my heroes. To be able to do that was really exciting. Yeah. So Paul loved it, and Paul does a really good George Carlin.
Screw means exactly what fuck means. It could have been as dirty as fuck, but Screw got fucked by fuck.
So I said, what would it be like for those guys like Groucho and Carlin? They couldn't survive in today's environment. So I wrote a sketch where we're together up in heaven, Groucho and Carlin, having a conversation about how political correctness has destroyed comedy. And it's it's really clever because those are two guys that were politically incorrect, And that's the way that's what comedy's supposed to be. But I think that's awesome, though, this premise of Carlin and Groucho having this conversation. And the coolest thing was I thought of that idea and I wrote Carlin and Groucho. There's got to be a picture of them somewhere. And there's a picture with George Carlin and Groucho Marx together. So
that's awesome.
this is like made in heaven. This is perfect. So we're going to like morph. We're going to show that photo and then morph it, the two of us having this conversation. And it's, it's all, and they were similar because Groucho was all puns and wordplay. And of course, George Carlin was like a genius with wordplay.
Oh, he's just the man.
So, to me, those two guys are like in the top 5 of all-time great comedy heroes. So it's really fun to think that they're together.
That's awesome. And so when is that show going to debut?
Well, we're going to actually filming it. We're filming it this Friday at a studio in Holbrook. And as far as the editing goes and all, it probably won't really air until, who knows, later this year, could even be next year. But Paul has some great ideas, and he's doing a talk show. He's got Joe Cumia, who's Anthony Cumia's brother.
Right, yeah.
He's going to be, he's in a Red Hot Chili Peppers cover band. Tribute band, I guess they call them.
Yeah,
so they're going to be like the house band. So we've got some really heavy hitters. It's going to be really fun. So that's kind of one of the things I've been working on.
Are you the Ed McMahon on this thing? Are you going to be on the couch and stuff? Are you
yeah,
the
I don't
sidekick?
know. I don't know. We are thinking old school in a way. So I don't know if I'm going to be the sidekick all the time, but I'm certainly going to do a lot of the writing, and I'm sure I'll make some appearances. And, we're probably going to have my other side project, the Retirement Village People.
The Retirement Village People. Here we come, walking down your street. We like to give our opinions to everyone we meet. Hey, we're retired, and people hate that we're still around. But we're too busy bitching and putting everybody down.
I think I have somebody here.
Yeah, we got to get Monty Belligerent. Yeah, we're going to be.
I got to go get him. I got a guy
cool.
named Monty Belligerent, who's he's the leader of, one of the duo. It's Monty Belligerent and Cranky Carmichael.
Mikey Belligerent, everybody.
Monty Belligerent.
Monty.
Monty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monty Belligerent is now joining us.
What?
And we're going to ask him some questions about what's going on.
What
Monty.
the hell is this? Zumba? I don't like to do the Zumba unless the girls are naked.
How you doing, Monty?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just, I wanted to talk to you because I know that you're.
Oh, there you are. All right.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing the best I can in the COVID. Got the COVID. I didn't get the COVID.
Thank God you didn't get the COVID because you're part of the Retirement Village People. And I just wanted to make sure that you're holding up okay because this COVID is kind of attacking the older generation.
You know what? I used to drink water from the hose. I was a kid. They used to put sticks up my ass. I grew up in a weird neighborhood. And it didn't matter. All this stuff. We didn't have Purell. We had nothing. We used to go to a bowling alley and you put your fingers in the bowling ball with thousands of other people, right? Imagine all the germs in the bowling ball. Those people go home, they put their fingers in their ass, and then they come in and they play bowling. And those shoes, remember the shoes?
Yeah.
Remember they used to spray that spray? Listen, I worked in a bowling alley. We used to put urine. We used to piss in the bottle and spray in the shoes.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that's some bowling alley.
And you went to the bathroom. There was no pump soap. They had a bar of soap. Remember, it was a bar of soap on the
community
sink.
bar.
And it was like shit all over it and hair. And you washed your face with the bar of soap. And there was no paper towels or blowers, air blowers. What'd they have? They had a towel. And you used to roll the towel. Vroom, vroom. And you found the clean part of the towel. Am I right?
Wow, yeah.
That's why I don't get the COVID, because I'm immune to all that stuff.
Yeah, so your immunity system is like super strong because of the way you were raised.
It's like Superman immunity.
So that bowling alley saved your life, essentially.
The bowling alley. I'm telling you. That's the thing. My antibodies are going to CrossFit. They're pumping iron.
Wow. So today's generation, these people are weak because they use Purell.
Purell. They use the Purell. Like you're killing your antibodies. They're not even into CrossFit. Your antibodies are out. They're scrubbing their vaginas. Can I curse on you? They got all, your antibody is a giant vagina. My antibody is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So Monty, do you wear a mask or you don't bother wearing masks? You don't need
I
that.
wear a mask.
You don't need those,
You know
right?
what? I wear a mask. You know what I do? When I go near people, I pull the mask off, and I go, no, 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 no. I put the mask back on. And they run away. They fall on the ground, and I run them over with the wagon.
So your generation is way tougher than this one. This is a generation of whiners, complainers, mask wearing, Purell wearing people that just don't get it anymore. What went wrong, Monty? What went wrong?
What went wrong? We got crazy. The Purell company, Procter and Gamble took over, and now everything is Purell and alcohol. We used to drink scotch. That's how you got better. You drank scotch. When I was a baby, I was teething. My mother would rub scotch on my gums. Right? That's how I got immune. I was an alcoholic at 7 months old.
Wow. Wow. These are some crazy times. You got the protests, the riots, the COVID, murder hornets.
Murder hornets. Listen, we protested back in the 60s. I used to hang out with Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison, you know?
Wow.
The Doors and the other guy from the Voodoo Lounge, whatever the hell is the Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix, the black guy. And we used to hang out. And we used to do protests. And Jimi Hendrix did the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock. He played with his teeth. And you think he washed his mouth out after he played with his teeth? No, he didn't care. And we had protests. We used to stick the flowers in the guns because we were hippies and the hippie girls. And we had sex all the time. There was no condoms. There was no AIDS.
Wow.
There were no assistance, no AIDS, AIDS either. Nothing.
Right. Wow. Those are some good times.
Those were some good times.
So, Monty Belligerent, I know you've been around for a while and you've seen stand-up comedy evolve through the years. Is this cancel culture? What's going on? How is that going to affect stand-up comedy moving forward?
Everything's getting canceled now. I'm telling you. I remember I used to hang out with Red Fox. Me and Red Fox. I'm the one that gave a heart attack. Remember, he was like, "Oh, it's a big one, Elizabeth." I did it. I killed the motherfucker.
Wow.
He's a good guy, though, and he wouldn't be alive. If he was around today, nothing. Groucho Marx and George Carlin and Red Buttons, and, well, maybe Red Buttons would be around because all he did was that dinner routine, and nobody liked it. Nobody liked Red Buttons.
Nobody liked Red Buttons.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Me you're talking to.
Piece of shit. He had red hair like a vagina. He was red. I knew all those guys. I hung out with all of them.
Wow, man. So you've been around it. So you were like hanging out with all those guys at that time, like the Milton Berles and all those. And
I didn't know Milton Berle. I knew Sammy Davis Jr., the black guy.
Right.
Sammy Davis Jr. No, the Jewish guy. The Jewish blind black guy. He was everything.
Yeah, he's a combo. Yeah.
He was like a Jewish blind black gay guy. He could have been gay. Who knows?
We'll never know on that one, but it's very possible. I've seen him sing the Candyman, so you never know.
The Candyman. The Candyman can.
The last thing I want to ask you, Monty, is about we're in like this cashless society. It looks like everything's moving in that direction.
I don't like it.
Yeah, tell me your thoughts on that real quick.
Well, it's no good because, first of all, you're going to ruin the underground economy. I mean, I got my guy, Paco. He comes mows my lawn once a week. How do I pay him? I pay him in cash. He ain't got no credit card machine. I give him cashola right off the bucks. He pays this guy $2 and he keeps the rest. That's good for him. I don't care. And let me tell you something. I visited a few strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? In my day. Don't tell my wife. Don't tell my wife.
I won't say
and what do? You put $1 in the stripper. Put $1. What am I going to use? A credit card? What do I swipe it? What, you got to pull down her underwear? Right. What's that? Where do you got the chip? Where do you put the chip? That's got to hurt. You can't do it, cashless society. Cash is king.
You need cash. I agree with you, especially in the strip clubs, like you said. It's just beneficial. But Monty, I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else you want to let us know or add, or where can people see you, or what do you got going on?
Well, you know, I got this group, the Retirement Village people.
Prostate, there's a pill you can take. Prostate, when your flow ain't so great. Prostate, every night is a chore trying not to pee on the floor.
We're Songs for the Ages by the Aging. We do a lot of old parody songs, like it's like Village People, AARP instead of YMCA, AARP. We got a lot of Father's Little Helper, which is about Viagra. We got a lot of songs. We're doing some new songs, original songs. If Elvis were alive, he'd be dead by now. That's one of them.
We got to hear that one. That's going to be
and we
awesome.
got another one. Hackers stole my identity. Now they got to buy gas for my car. The Lord looked at my keys. I forgot the name of the song. I got one about my girlfriend who's a Walmart greeter. She's got 3 teeth. I like her. She's good at things. You know what I mean? What are you going to do?
So,
but, you know, we're going to get back together. Me and my buddy, Cranky Carmichael, we write a lot of songs. We do like 55 and over in old age homes and nursing homes, you know. They love it. They sit there. They like the show. They shit their pants. They stay. They don't have to leave. Everything's right there for them.
There you go. I mean? There's no distractions. It's just
no distractions. You see the guy that laughed? Is he laughing or is he shitting his pants? You can't tell. But either way, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, thank you, Monty. It's always great to talk to you and kind of get your point of view on the world today. So
that's my point of view.
That's
my point of view. And don't listen to doctors. What's this, Dr. Fauci? He talks like me. He thinks he's smart because he talks like me.
You know, I am looked upon as a very realistic person. Some may even say pessimistic.
He's imitating me. You hear him? Yeah. He's on TV going, we got to make sure we get the vaccine. Screw you, you dumb bastard. He's a doctor. Doctors are no good. You ever go to a doctor? They don't know what the hell's wrong with you. Nothing. They got to look in a book. They go in the other room. What the hell's that guy got? I never seen that before. Right?
Yeah, I definitely think Fauci's making it up as he goes along.
He doesn't know anything. He threw out the first. You see how he threw out the pitch at the game? That wasn't the first time he threw a curveball. Let me tell you. The only thing he's pitching is a vaccine.
Wow. Yeah, and will you be? And when that vaccine comes out, are you gonna get the vaccine, or how are you gonna?
Yeah. What the hell? I'll get it. They can put it in my ass. I don't care. The most action I ever got in 30 years.
Wow.
Oh man, I gotta go. My wife is calling me.
All right, Monty. It's always great to hear from you. Thank you, Monty Belligerent, everybody, and
Stevie GB.
And Stevie GB. All right, Stevie GB is back.
This is great. I gotta answer this call.
Yeah, Stevie, take care. Always great to see you, my friend, and hope to have you on soon, my buddy.
Yes, you will. Thank you, Don.
All right, take care, man.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Stevie GB, everyone. All right, Benny, that's the show for today. It was a lot of fun. Stevie GB, man, I told you, he's great. I know he's an old friend of yours. Great guy.
I love Stevie. Stevie's my buddy.
Yeah, man. Great guy. And happy comedy anniversary to Stevie GB. 29
Happy anniversary,
years.
buddy. Happy 29th. On the 30th, we're going to party.
Yes,
Sharks,
indeed.
zombies, who gives a shit?
But also, it's not only Stevie GB's big day. It's also the birthday of Jerry Garcia, the late, great Jerry Garcia. Oh, there you go.
Jerry Garcia's birthday, baby. That's what I'm going to, right after this show. As soon as this show ends, baby, I'm gonna roll me one the size of Peru. I am gonna smoke Colombia. All right. I'm gonna play all day. I've been listening to nothing but Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia music.
Very good, man.
Jerry Garcia, baby. Jerry Garcia's birthday. And
did I ever tell you my one Jerry Garcia story?
No,
All right, so here's the story. I'll tell it real quick and as fast as I can, because I know it's the end of the show, but I got one Jerry Garcia story for Jerry Garcia's birthday. So I went to the taping of David Letterman show. It must have been 1999, 98, around that time period. I got tickets to go. It was his 13th episode at CBS. This is when he just moved right after the late night wars, all that kind of stuff. I was Team Letterman at the time. Didn't think much of Jay Leno at that time period, right? So I go to the show. We get there. It's me and my brother. We got the 2 tickets. I'm watching the taping. I'm so excited to see David Letterman live. And so we had really good seats. We were like 5th row there, right? So the show ends and they usher you out. And the way they ushered us out, we got to go right next to the stage. Oh, I left out the part that the guests, the musical guest was Jerry Garcia, solo. So I got to watch him perform a solo thing. It was his last performance. It was, I think it was the year he died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So like 1995 or something.
Yeah, around that time period. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So he's performing live, and I'm enjoying it. I always loved the Grateful Dead. Not like you but I've always appreciated the Grateful Dead. So Jerry performed. He was the closer. He did it. He was the last performance of the night. Then Dave, all right, everybody, thank you. Show ends, lights go on. They start escorting us out. We're going by the stage. So I have a ticket, and I had one of his guys, what's his name?
Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor, send it to our good friend, Mr. Biff Henderson. Biff, come on out.
One of his regulars signed my ticket. The producer guy who was always on the show.
Oh, okay, one of Letterman's guys, yeah.
Yeah, that he puts on camera a lot. So I'm like, all right, now I want to get Paul to sign my ticket. Because Paul was still there, like on his own. He didn't have like a crew. He's rolling wires and rolling cables.
Oh, wow!
Right? Yeah, it's weird. So he's there, and I'm fixated with Paul Schaefer at this time. So I start yelling for Paul. I'm like making a scene here and embarrassing my brother, but I'm like, Paul, hey! So he looks at me. He's like, hey, how are you? I was like, hey, man, can you sign my thing? He's like, I'd love to. I can't, man. So then the security guard comes over and goes, hey, you got to go. And then there's a guy's foot right next to me because the stage platform is like here, so it's almost a little bit above chest level where the stage was. So this guy's foot's there. So as the guy's pushing me away, I kind of grazed this foot, and then I look up to see whose foot it was, and it's Jerry Garcia staring down at me like. So I'm sitting here sweating to get an autograph from Paul Schaefer. Meanwhile, I got a legend, an icon, standing that I probably could have gotten. Standing right there, his leg was right next to me. In fact, I think I might have looked around his leg at Paul at some point.
One of the greatest guitarist, string musician, banjo player, one of the greatest musicians of the later half of the century, and you're yelling for Paul Schaefer.
Oh, holy night. That's
his foot was there because he wanted to kick you in the head.
He was holding his guitar too. When he looked down at me, he was still holding his guitar. I'll never forget the view of him, like literally, because the stage is up to my chest, and his foot. So he's like, so it's like looking up. He's like looking straight down at me, like, and his beard and everything. I guess remember we made eye contact right before I got pushed out by the security guard.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Yeah. And then you could have gotten there, and you're yelling for Paul Schaefer. He probably go, yo, security, want to get this guy out of here. You were the only guy in the audience that didn't want something from Jerry Garcia.
I know, man. I'm always regret it. Every time I think about Jerry Garcia or his name comes up, I remember that day.
But you got to see him. That was like one of his last performances on TV, right?
Yeah, I think it was his last television performance. I could Google that and check that and fact check it. But yeah, I believe it was. And I remember when he passed away too. I remember that moment, and I said to myself, "What a man! I blew it."
Hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's the way you go. They had a piano player in the 70s, Keith Godchow, and his wife Donna used to sing. Keith and Donna were in the band. I went to a concert, and Keith and Donna opened for Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead, had a band called Kingfish, and it was at Stony Brook University.
Oh,
the old gym. So I went to the bathroom, and this guy walks past me, and I'm like, wow, that looks like Keith Godchow. Wow, I didn't. And then he went up on stage and performed, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're like, damn it, I got so close.
Yeah, it was right there. We walked right past, and he had like a smile on his face, but it was like a drug induced, you know.
Yeah, he
It
was.
was like Keith was flying. He was ready to go play piano. He was like flying. But I'm like, son of a bitch, you know. So, but that's so cool. But you notice I meet all my celebrities in the bathroom. I told you about Paul Simon.
Yeah, Paul Simon.
I meet them all in the bathroom.
Too funny, man. Well, listen, Benny,
Hey.
I want you to enjoy, the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia's birthday today. Do it the best way you know how. And I want you to have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, my friend.
You too, my friend. So
All right,
long. And everybody, thank you all for watching our show.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page when you get a chance. And like everything, like this, share it, have some fun, spread the word. Spread the word. We want to keep doing this and get as many people as we can to kind of partake in PUSUSU, if you will. So, yes, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. And, Benny, you're awesome, my friend.
You're awesome, buddy.
No, you're awesome.
You are super duper awesome.